responsible for the commercial operations outside North America. So we're an office that is working with 7 regions across the globe, so a broad diversity of market archetypes, affiliates, and in that office I'm responsible for multi-channel and kind of in an advanced setup or omni-channel transformation.
Mm-hmm. And what about your kind of interests outside of work? What sort of things do you like to do when you're not working?
Sure. So I think I'm quite interested into sports. So I'm doing a lot of CrossFit, trail running, but I also like to spend time with friends and find the right time and recipe for the best espresso shot. So I'm kind of a home barista, which is also a bit my passion. And in general, I'm looking into technology and sports because that's really kind of what I also feel is very important to me, and where I see also a lot of innovation happening.
Yeah. And in terms of the industry, what do you think are the main challenges that we're facing at the moment?
So I think if you look at it broadly and in the context of the COVID-19 pandemic, then I think the consequences and the impact on the road will be visible in a couple of months and years from now. Yeah? So I think that we will get into a phase where there's a lot of pressure on costs because health systems are pressured, not only since COVID, but even before, and that will definitely have an impact on price. I think also due to some of the major lockdown situations across the globe, there's also rising share of issues when it comes to mental health and mental well-being. But I also see it from a, you could say, company perspective. We're active in the field of diabetes and obesity mainly, and other serious chronic diseases, and especially with the limitations around moving around, exercising due to national lockdowns. I see that there might be sustainable consequences on, you could say, the metabolic systems, but also on exercises, especially in children and adolescents. And I think these are some of the things that we need to pay attention to, and how can we as an industry, but also as a society, contribute to kind of get back in shape and get back on track. And I would say that these are the two kind of most prominent ones that will also impact the way how we bring innovation to market, and what does it take to really kind of get innovative medicines to as many patients as possible.
So you're going to be speaking at the summit soon. So could you just maybe give us a little bit of an outline of what you're going to be covering and what your main kind of, I guess your main take-home message might be?
Absolutely. I think I decided to speak around omni-channel and what it takes from a mindset perspective to approach a topic like that. Yeah. So I believe that COVID has proven most of us that it works. Yeah. So, and also even before COVID, many, and I would say most of the top pharma companies had transformation programs in place, especially around customer engagement, CRM, multi-channel. So it's not new, right? So I won't speak about that we need to do customer journeys with different engagement channels or different touch points, but I would rather share experiences on, okay, how do we take all functions on board? Yeah, because we often hear and talk about the silos between marketing, sales, and you might have medical and access, which play important roles as well. Yeah, so I'm looking into, okay, what can we do and how can we also approach a very holistic setup? And in that sense, I would like to speak about some of the learnings that we created over the last 12 to 18 months to really look into a winning mindset, and how do we also celebrate fail forward or in general successes down the road.
All right. So what do you think are some of the key changes that need to be made in order to bring some of those things, and tackle some of these issues that you're talking about?
I think it's to me what is really decisive is that we include the functions that are involved in the execution, also in the strategy and the planning phase. So it might sound a bit old-fashioned, because if you kind of look at marketing literature and all that stuff, then it's quite omnipresent that you need to collect input and insights from all different angles. But what we have done is that we really looked at how can we bring sales closer to marketing and vice versa. So we often hear that e-detail aids or in general the content is not customer-centric and our reps are having a hard time to use it because it's not relevant. And then we said, okay, what can we do to kind of break these silos? So to also kind of make reps part of the planning phase, for instance. So for me, it's kind of this hybrid approach between field and non-field functions that will be decisive. And that's why we also said, if we are working in marketing in a back office function, we should definitely spend time in the field. We should definitely involve our reps frequently and really make them part of the journey. Because if reps have a say in what will be the messages, then it might also be easier to get into a stage where we can kind of adapt our campaigns based on the data that we collect on the field. And it's also important to ensure that we have clear rules of engagement between the different teams. So we all know that customer 360 is one of these key topics. But if you have multiple functions just sending out email communications and webinar invites and sending field visits, then it's not kind of orchestrated. It's not aligned, and that's what we also try to achieve. And there, I think it's not always about technology. It's also about the mindset and showing people kind of how success can look like. And that's why we say, okay, let's create some quick win scenarios, and then we use that to go from Spotlight, where we work in kind of a break or territory setup, to a broader scale that would then influence the whole BU.
Yeah. And I guess involving the reps, they're the ones that are actually out there talking to the customers. So they know what they want to know and they know what will influence them. So it's a really good approach to me. That's excellent. So I know you don't have very long to chat to us today, so we'll wrap it up in a minute. But I guess my last question to you would be, what's the best part of your job? What gets you out of bed in the morning? What are you passionate about?
I think so. I started my career in pharma with Bayer, the big German life science company, and I think what was amazing was to see kind of how science can really improve people's life. And I think the pharmaceutical industry has definitely a huge role in that. And I think that this is what really makes me passionate, right? That the work that we are doing as a company, not only in my job, but as a company or as an industry as such, is really helping people live better lives. And I think that's something that I like to strive for. But then I think it's also very important to understand and anticipate also the influence and the impact we have. So I'm kind of in analytics and digital since more than 10 years now, and I think that we all talk about AI and we see kind of how AI also can harm certain things in the public. So we heard about Cambridge Analytica that likely manipulated some of the elections in this world, and we also hear that that fake news and media might be influenced by bots and all that stuff. So the question is, how can we use AI, for instance, in an ethical way? And I think that is one of the maybe top 3 challenges also for the pharmaceutical industry, because if you're kind of researching based on improved patient lives, then this is definitely a stage where we need to be very human to adapt technologies nowadays, right? And therefore, I see this kind of as one of the key challenges, but also one of the key mandates that we have to deliver upon. Yeah? And then what I feel is also very exciting to see is how these kind of technology innovations, digital therapeutics, API ecosystems can shape the way we look at healthcare from a more holistic setup. Yeah? And there I think as a pharma industry or as a company, we are one part of the equation. Yeah, we are not the part, but we need to find our spot, and that's also what I feel very excited about. That it's never done. Yeah, so we look at all these platforms that have been acquired by the big pharmacos, molecules, treatments, and that is super exciting. Yeah, so that is really what I feel very passionate about as well, and why I'm kind of smiling at work every day.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Thank you very much. Thank you so much for your time. It's great to meet you, and we look forward to your session. Great. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Have a good day.